Welcome to the Midwest Happy Hour. We're your hosts, Lacey and Hayley.
Join us for a drink and a chat with a new Midwest small town perspective on topics that will keep you learning, laughing, and growing.
So let's get into it. Cheers!
Well, we can get started. Yes, we usually do a little cheers. Do you have a little drink with you? We can do a virtual cheers. Yeah, cheers. This is so good, by the way. What blend or coffee?
Okay, so before we go really any further, all right, so we have Luke from Gobena, right? It's pronounced Gobena.
Gobena.
Gobena. We even looked up the pronunciation.
Okay, so just to tell the people, especially if they're new, because like I said, we've talked about
Gobena. Favorite coffee.
So what we have here, my sister actually is who turned me on to this recipe. So, shot of espresso, and then heavy cream, and then a little bit of maple syrup.
That maple syrup.
But the blend is Guatemala.
That's my favorite.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Guatemala makes a great cold brew. It really does. It's got a little bit of a chocolatey taste as well when made as a cold brew. So this is definitely this is definitely cold brew season for us. We sell a lot of cold brew to cafes and individuals all around.
Yeah, I've been experimenting lately with a French press. When we go camping, it's super easy to just dump the hot water in and the coffee and let it brew a little bit, and then you just press it down and bam, you got hot coffee, and all you had to do was boil some water. It's pretty good. I saw on the website that a couple of them, I never did check to see, it says the different roasts, what they're good for, and there's one in there that says good for the French press.
Yeah. Well, and that's a must-have when you're camping. You gotta have coffee in the morning.
Oh, yes, 100%.
That's the best part of camping.
Right. And I've done cowboy coffee before, where you just pour hot water over it, over a bandana, and it's pretty. It's a little gritty by the time you get to the end of it. That French press definitely helped us move up in the world there.
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
I've never done that before. I've always wanted to know the different types of coffee. I've always been very confused by it.
What do you mean, light, medium, and dark, or
the different types of
the beans?
the French press thing.
Oh yeah.
And
cold brew and
that's a great question. Yeah, right. So there's different brewing methods, and French press would be a pretty popular one that you mentioned. Typically, you'd have you would grind it coarse, so not as fine. And French press, it doesn't have a filter. There's no paper filter on the French press, so you get more of the oils from the coffee. You get more of the kind of almost a harsh taste. It's great for dark roasts. I mean, a strong French press wakes you up. I mean, that's why it's such a good coffee thing to take camping. In the morning, you just want something strong and hot.
Yeah.
Then there's a pour over, a Chemex would be a brand that makes a lot of pour overs. And that's where you have the paper filter. You put the coffee in it. That would be ground finer than a French press. And, you got your hot water and you kind of pour it over.
I've seen that, and you're supposed to go real slow.
Pour it over. Yeah, so that's gotten really popular the last 10, 15 years. And that's actually how they made coffee way back in the day, in the 1920s. They would do pour overs.
Oh, wow.
Somewhere in
so why is it coming back? Just because people want to live on homesteads again?
Probably because it's delicious.
Yeah. It's the artistic side too. You have more control over the water, how fast you pour it on the coffee grounds, things like that. And then there's the automatic drip brewer, a lot of people would have at home on their counter, the Bun, the classic Bun drip machine. So they invented the automatic drip brewer, I don't know, maybe the 1960s or so. And it was a huge deal because it you didn't have to stand there and pour the water over it. Like, it did it by itself. So, you got to look back at history and just kind of smile, because now we're like, drip brewer, nah, we'll do the pour over.
Back to the taking your time and little artisanal. Yeah.
Right. Yep.
But it's
And
good.
then
It's good.
another great brewing method is espresso. So espresso is really finely ground coffee. Typically, it would be maybe a coffee roasted a little bit darker, and we roast our espresso longer. That gives it a little bit more body. But that is really finely ground coffee. You have to have an espresso machine, so it pushes hot water at really high pressure through the coffee grounds. And, an espresso shot should take like 25 seconds, so it's pretty quick. And that produces a distinct flavor.
I do love a good espresso.
My question is, so like I have the Ninja
50,000.
It has ice. It's like a normal coffee, strong, and then it also has specialty. And like, so I do 2 like of the big scoops. Obviously, it has like the tablespoons. So I just do 2 scoops of that. That's what it says to do. And then that's what you make like you put your cream and like whatever else you wanted to it. So like, what would that be? I mean, if it says specialty.
Specialty. Is it a drip brewer or is it an espresso machine?
It's a drip brewer, like it's a regular. But I think it's like it's basically kind of like making espresso, but it probably can't call it espresso because you don't have the right. You're not like pressing it. Like I love those videos.
Really strong coffee.
Yeah.
Does it work? Is it nice and strong?
Yeah. It is.
Delicious.
Well, that's
and it
great.
makes like a smaller amount.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. So somehow they're kind of mimicking an espresso. It sounds like.
Yeah, it's super good. I do love all those. Have you seen those videos? People get like crazy amounts of equipment and they have this little like thing and they put the espresso in and then they have a weight and then they like weight it down all nice and then they kind of like shake it or whatever and then you put it in the thing and it looks so like nice but expensive.
Right. And it just seems like, oh my goodness, that takes so much time. I need to like ASAP.
Especially
right. Yep.
Not so my coffee.
Yeah. I mean, it's so fast that I basically pre-make it so that it's ready to go. I can just push the button.
Yeah. That's the best. That's why I love my Keurig. I just slap a cup in there. I do. Oh yeah, I wanted to say that at Dave's. I find K-cups of Gobena.
Yeah. We have K-cups. They're great. My favorite's the cafe blend. That's a medium roast.
Ooh.
But yeah, K-cups are great for if you want something quick. If you don't want to make a whole pot, just wake up, throw those in.
Yeah, because that's my problem. Is I can't drink a whole. I don't even really usually drink 2 cups. So
like a pot. A little more than half.
No, nothing too nuts. In the K-cup, that's the way to go. I was so excited when I found them though. I was like, yes, now I can just. I mean, obviously, I buy both, especially to like take camping, and then my Keurig Duo will make a pot or a cup.
Oh yeah, right. Yep.
What's your favorite?
Brewing method or coffee or both?
Either, both.
Yeah, I want to know brewing method though.
Yeah. So I didn't really drink much coffee until I got married, and my wife is a French presser. She was just into the French press, and I started trying some of her coffee, and then slowly, like every normal human, I started liking coffee. Like it's just kind of that progression. So yeah, we would do French press at the house all the time. My biggest hang up with the French press is it's hard to like empty all the coffee grounds out of it because they stick to the bottom.
Yes,
You
I
know,
also run it, and then when you clean it out, you basically have to like stick your hand all the way down in there to like wipe it out or
yeah,
whatever, and
get all dirty.
coffee grounds.
Uh,
Especially when you're camping, it's the best to just stick your grimy hand right in there and like,
yeah, what else you gonna do? Yeah. So, but
yeah,
yeah, I love French press coffee. We got an espresso machine at our house like probably 3 years ago, and that's what we use now. So we make
yeah,
a lot of Americanos, which is two espresso shots with a little bit of hot water. So it's just like a really
yeah.
strong coffee.
I don't know if I could
Do
do
you
that.
put anything in it, or do
No,
you
I
just
really
drink it?
like it. Yeah, I just like it pretty straight.
Yeah,
Sometimes we'll do lattes, especially for guests. A lot of lattes with some honey on top or maple syrup in there.
yum,
Um,
honey on top.
so
Good
yeah,
idea.
yeah, it's
'Cause-
great. It's fun. Um, I just my favorite, is like well, during the week I'm going to work, so I don't really. I drink coffee at work. I'm like I get up and just go to work and get coffee at
yeah,
work. But during the weekend, I love like on a Saturday. That's my favorite is when I don't have anything going on in the morning. I'm just hanging out with wife and kids and making some coffee, sipping coffee, hanging out with the kiddos.
yeah. She's putting the dog. He can't help himself, but just whine every time we do a podcast. It's hilarious. I don't know. I
Oh,
think
that
he
is
like
funny.
knows.
Ah,
There's 3 kids in the house, 2 boys and the dog.
two boys and a dog. That's great. That's great.
Yeah, yeah.
So how long have you been with?
That's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
Gobena.
Think of Ben, like you, Ben. So go Ben, go Bena. Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, so it is. It's an interesting name because coffee bean. You would think go Bena,
That's
but
what I thought. And even when I spell
yeah,
it, I've been spelling it
right,
wrong. I'm like, oh my goodness.
yeah. So Gobena, it is an Ethiopian name. Gobena was an Ethiopian man, and that's really how Gobena Coffee started. I'll give you the story here. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, I read a
he
little bit on the that or like
The website.
I want to know more.
okay, yeah, it's an amazing story, um, and it's how we started, and then kind of the mission we're carrying on today. So Gobena he's a farmer, a plantain farmer in Ethiopia, kind of rural Ethiopia, and they're small farms like 2 acres or 3 acres, and he was out in his field plowing, um, taking care of the field, and he heard some crying, so he walked over to a tree and he found a newborn baby girl there. Still had afterbirth on her, had just been born recently, and
Oh,
and and we know the mom was in a very desperate situation, but that she wanted the baby to live because she placed the child under a tree, and that was probably the best thing. Like she's probably just in a super desperate situation, but
yeah.
Gobena, yeah, found the baby and took the child to his home, and he and his wife Mulunesh, they were about 65 at the time, and
Oh my
they
goodness.
cared for the child for about a month, and they were worried. They're kind of they're out in rural Ethiopia, worried the child might die. Didn't quite have the means to take care of the baby, so they went to a police station and then ended up putting the child in an orphanage. Praying and hoping that would be the best for the child. Well, there's a family in central Illinois here that flew over to Ethiopia to the orphanage to adopt this baby girl, and her name's Eva. And when they got to the orphanage, they learned about how Eva was found, how she was rescued,
Mm-hmm.
and so they went out and they met with Gobena and his wife and just thanked them. uh,
Yeah.
Spent some time with them and just learned, how baby Eva was found. So it's kind of an amazing story of rescue.
That
The
is
you
just
know
so.
Yeah, also being 65 and like taking care of a newborn is probably a whole different experience than when you're, especially if they had kids at, an earlier age,
Yeah,
they're probably like, oh gosh, this is a little bit harder now when you're 65 to have a
I
newborn.
just
right.
couldn't imagine just like working my farm and then hearing a cry and then
And that's a distinct, like,
right,
crazy,
newborn baby.
is that a baby? Ooh.
Oh my God, that's so scary.
Yeah, yeah, unbelievable. So the family, Steve and Danae, came back, and Steve is pretty entrepreneurial. So he started Gobena Coffee in memory of what Gobena did for his daughter.
Yeah.
And Steve and Danae ran it for a while, and then they gave it to Life Song for Orphans. They gave the company to Life Song for Orphans. And that's who Gobena Coffee's partnered with today is Life Song for
Okay.
Orphans. And
So
so
do
our
they still do
profits,
anything with Gebena, or is it just like through the like that organization? Do they basically run this coffee business, or sorry, does that make sense?
yeah,
What I'm asking?
yeah. Great question. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Steve and Danae, they're not involved with Gobena anymore. They have a construction business, and they actually adopted um, another child. They have four children, and
Woo!
life is busy. And it was kind of
Yeah!
Oh yeah.
yeah, yep, yeah. So, um, so yeah, Lifesong uh, was working with Gobena for a few years, and it was ran by volunteers. And then in 2014, at the end of 2014, they hired Gobena hired an employee, which was myself. That was really the first like full time person dedicated to the coffee business, and we just kind of steadily grown since. We've added some more people along the way, and we bought our own roaster in 2015. That was a huge point, very pivotal for us, where we could control quality
Yeah.
a little better. We could, be more timely with orders. If we get an order in, we could roast it right away and ship it out. And then a
Cool.
few years ago, we moved into a new facility on the west side of Gridley, and it's been awesome. We got a second roaster there. We got more space to roast and pack coffee, and then we're gonna add on a warehouse and some more office spaces here in the next month or so.
Yeah, that is awesome. So you started in 2014, you said?
Yep. Yeah.
So was it like, because I saw on the website there's, I mean, I don't know, 15 different like types of coffee. Now, was it a lot? Like, have you grown and, you started maybe with 3 types of coffee and now there's a lot more?
Yeah. 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 We started with probably 3, 4, or 5 types is pretty limited, and we added some coffees. From customers asking, "Hey, could you get a Sumatra coffee?" And I really like that as a dark roast.
Yeah.
Or um, and then we'll bring it in. We'll try to be pretty flexible. One recent coffee we brought in is a Congolese coffee, super unique. It's a great light roast, and you don't hear much about like Congo coffee, but it was an
Yeah.
organization over there that they're trying to create an industry, a coffee industry, and they can grow coffee well with their climate. So, we partnered with
Yes.
them, and it's been really fun, and it's got a great impact, like with the coffee farmers there in Congo as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So, uh, fair trade organic is like I think that's most of what have seen like at Dave's when I go to buy, but I always buy the Guatemalan, which is fair trade organic. I need to like
Yeah.
branch out more.
Well, yeah. If you find something that's good, it's hard to change.
Yeah, yeah. So fair trade meaning all of the money that the money from the farmer or from the customer goes straight back to the farmer, basically, right?
Yeah, yeah, fair trade. It's a certification. So there's a
Right.
company, Fair Trade USA. They're in California, and they are so they basically govern it. They audit
Oh,
us. They'll audit the importer. They'll audit the cooperative, in the country. And yeah, they make sure everyone's being paid fairly. So the farmer is not shorted. And, there's not one person in that supply chain taking all the profit. It's spread out.
Does that happen like a lot? I would assume so, since there was something created such as the fair trade.
Well, yeah, that's the point. It's like to make sure that the person. It's just.
Yeah.
Not to say that if one of the types isn't fair trade, not to say that the farmer isn't like getting paid, but just there's probably other steps along the way where somebody else has to get in on the money in order for it to make it to you guys.
Yeah, and it's kind of a slippery slope. Like, people, they might not be like all out greedy and say, well, I want this for super cheap and the farmer only needs this much. Like, it's kind of a slippery slope. Like, people would be like, well, can I get it a little cheaper? Or, oh, okay, I'll go to this farmer. Can I get a little cheaper here? Well, if you're not going to do that, I'll go to this farmer and get a little cheaper. And so over time, the farmer can get whittled down to where he's not making anything, and he can't negotiate because he's just a single farmer. So what's happened? A lot of farmers have come together to make cooperatives, which are kind of like the grain elevators here in Central Illinois. A lot of them are co-ops, and these co-ops have more negotiating power, and they also get certified by Fair Trade. They get certified USDA organic, and then we like working with cooperatives because they have those certifications, and then they also have better processing equipment because it's many farmers coming together so they can afford nicer equipment to process the coffee, because coffee is actually a cherry, and
which is wild. I did not know that.
Wild.
I was like trying to do some. What?
Yeah.
Like, blowing my mind right now.
So, have you ever heard of cascara? Cascara is the outside. That's the cherry, and then the pit is the green coffee. That's the coffee that we roast. It's green.
Okay. So I'm writing this down.
So they got to pull the cherry off, and then they got to wash the green coffee. They got to dry it, and so there's a lot of equipment involved in doing that because you're talking thousands and thousands of pounds that they're harvesting every day and processing.
Yeah, I mean, because you need a lot of beans to make it. I mean, for this cup of coffee, like that went a lot of beans went into that. Yeah, cool, interesting. So you guys get the beans green, and then you roast them with your. I saw that. Is it Joper roaster?
Yeah,
on your website. Yeah.
Yep. They're out of Portugal, cool. So. Yeah, both of our roasters are Jopers. They've been in the industry a long time, and they're really solid machines.
Interesting. I never thought first of all, I didn't think about. It's one of those things where you go, oh, like that's how it grows, like on a tree or a vine or whatever, But I guess I just pictured like it coming already, like roasted or whatever. I don't know. I was like, oh yeah, I guess it is green probably, and then you have to do something to it to make it delicious.
Why is it green?
Oh. And then who was like the first guy to go, let's take this green bean
and roast it
and then grind it up and then pour hot water over it.
Yeah,
and see how good it's gonna get.
So legend has it Ethiopia was the origin of coffee, which is cool because we started in Ethiopia, by what Gobena did, and so this is a legend. If it's true or not, I don't know, but it's commonly a lot of people would say it's probably it. But there's a goat farmer in Ethiopia, and he had like a herd of goats, and they're on kind of the mountainside, and the goats they lead them to grass and. That's what they eat. So the shepherd will just lead them around, or the goat farmer will just lead them around. And the goat farmer noticed his goats were like extraordinarily energetic, and he started realizing when they ate the cherries, the red cherries off this certain bush, they would get like just really wound up. And so,
This is funny because
and
goats are
and it,
already pretty like.
they're already pretty funny. Yeah, they're hilarious. They're funny animals. So and it was a coffee bush, and then yeah, so that was kind of the start. Goats eating coffee cherries, and people watched them. Were like, oh, there's something in those cherries.
Yeah, so
Let's roast them and then put some
right. So like,
Yeah,
it's a bush. So like, you would because I mean, well, and it has to be. I bet we don't grow it in America, or like maybe even.
yeah. Hawaii grows a lot. Like they have the right climate, and then they've been
Yeah.
growing some. I think it's outside of San Diego. I know it's in
Ooh.
California, but they're starting to experiment with some coffee farms in California, and it grows pretty well. I know they sell it for a really high dollar. I don't know,
Of course.
how big that'll get, but yeah.
Right.
Overall, most not much is grown in the States. A bunch of coffee in Brazil. I mean, they're the largest player by
Right.
far. And then Colombia grows a ton. Then there's
Yeah.
a lot of African countries: Ethiopia, Kenya, Rwanda, Uganda.
Right. But I mean, hey, stick to what you know. If it started in Ethiopia, like that's the good stuff. Like you don't have to
Yeah,
go any
that's
further.
right.
It's delicious. I wanted to ask about this because you found it on the website. FECCEG Cooperative.
Yes, yeah. So that would be like one of the cooperatives that we work with.
Well, that's
I'm
like
not.
what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, yep. So that would be the group of farmers that come together, and that
Okay.
co-op is certified Fair Trade USA, certified organic, and we have to have they have to be certified for us to be certified. Otherwise, we can't put the organic label on there. We can't put the fair trade label on there. So it's that's an acronym. It's a Spanish name, and if I pronounced it'd be embarrassing because my Spanish is not that good.
That's
bad.
You did it. You
Hey,
did
that
it.
was
It's
that was good. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And I can only imagine they put you through the ringer for that, like fair trade and organic stuff. I mean, because it probably FDA has to, like customs, like coming from other countries and stuff.
Yeah.
I bet that can get pretty crazy.
Yeah. We a lot of that importing, we work with a third party that handles the paperwork, and that's just perfect.
Yes.
They do it every day, and they know it. But yeah, it's all has to make sense. We'll get an audit every year that's pretty intense, where inspector will come on site all day and just go through paperwork and stuff, go through the facility, make sure we're keeping track, make sure we're selling. If we say it's organic, he makes sure you got to make sure it's organic. You don't want to sell something and label it organic if it's not. So they go through everything to make sure you're doing a good job, and it's actually it's pretty rigorous. But and I, starting out, I did not enjoy the process, but I actually enjoy. I mean, I still don't enjoy it, but it's beneficial. It's made us a lot better. It's made us, better cleanliness, better sanitation, better record keeping, more professional overall. So it is a good thing. It's a hard thing to go through, but I mean, it is a good thing, and
keeps you honest.
Keeps us honest. And when we put that label, like that organic label on our bag, like it really means something.
Yeah.
Right, man.
Fantastic. I actually just was on 24 not that long ago, and I passed your guys' facility, and I was like I almost took a right turn immediately but I didn't know if you have like a storefront or what. I was like, I'll probably just go up to the door.
Yeah, you should have just stopped in. Yeah, we'll give you a tour and show you around for sure. Yeah, people will stop. You can get coffee, like bag coffee, whole bean or grounds. It's fresh. It's a great spot to buy it. We don't brew coffee, but there's a great cafe down the road that does Common Grounds in Gridley there. You can get brewed coffee there. They have great pies too, good food.
Ooh.
But definitely swing by. We'll
It
give you a
is like
tour.
a, okay. I was like, I'll get
Show
up
you
to
the
the door. It'll
registers.
say like employees only or something.
Yeah.
It'll be like weird.
Talk to Luke. It's fine.
Yeah. We'll make you wear. If you want a tour, you got to wear. We'll make you wear a hairnet, and then you got to have like closed-toed shoes.
Yeah.
No shorts, no tank tops, just because it's a food production facility. But we give lots of tours actually, and we enjoy it. Yeah, people can check things out.
All right, we're gonna have to have a little girls' day, do a little coffee tour, buy some coffee products. Yeah.
So what are some of like your, I mean, you were their first official employee. So like what all did you have to do? And has it broadened or has it gotten smaller because now you potentially have more employees now, I'm assuming?
Yeah. We've seen pretty good growth. Overall, coffee has grown in America and really worldwide. But in America, like I'm 36, so when I was in college, let's say 16 years ago, maybe half the people drank coffee, maybe 30%. Now, like if you look at college students, it's probably 95% drink coffee. I mean, it's such a rapid change. And then, like when I was in high school, I don't remember my friends drinking coffee. Like when I was a junior or senior in high school, maybe a few, but there wasn't a coffee culture. Now there's a coffee culture in high school students. I mean, it's a thing. And
that's wild.
so kids are, students are drinking coffee younger, and then I mean everyone else is still drinking coffee. The industry has just really grown. It is, I think. Like what age should you start drinking coffee? I don't know. But when you're young, you have a lot of energy, so there's probably not a ton of reason to hit the coffee super hard.
Yes, I remember being told, stop getting cappuccinos from Casey's. You don't need it.
Yeah.
Like, so my dad and my mom, like their coffee of choice was like Folgers. So it really wasn't fantastic to begin with.
Yeah.
Cappuccino from Casey's right before school. And our teacher was like, "You can't bring that into the class." So I was like, "Okay." So I chugged it. Like
bunch of caffeine.
And I was shaking so bad. I couldn't like do my lock on my locker. I was like getting stuff out of my binder, just like shaking. Like I had to have you like help me.
Not too much coffee.
I can feel my heart beating out of my chest, and then just like that.
All right. Yeah, it's just you don't need probably 300 milligrams from the.
Now I do. Now I feel like
you could never have enough.
Yeah, one thing that's nice about coffee, and part of the reason it's grown, is like a cup of coffee, like just black coffee, is 2 to 4 calories. It has antioxidants in it. It's completely natural source of caffeine. I mean, it's plant based energy, and there's nothing artificial in it. So it is like, if you compare it to some other energy drinks, like a Monster or Red Bull, I mean, it is quite a bit healthier, and you could drink multiple cups of it. Yeah. So there's a lot of things going for it. If you want something, I mean, it's just great, right? In the morning, cup of coffee, it's hot. It's just one of the best things.
It makes you feel good. It smells good. Yeah, like especially when it's real cold out, you just get warmed up with a little cup of coffee and buy all the cups. I'm obsessed with coffee cups. Like, yeah.
And then another thing, the FDA came out with a study, and they said 3 to 5 cups of coffee a day is okay, and which is quite a bit. I'm not sure what. Yeah, I'm not sure what size those cups are. They might be 8-ounce cups. So for all you 20-ounce big, 32-ounce thermos drinkers, that's not 3 to 5 of those. But anyway, there's been a lot of positive publicity with coffee, like in the media too, and that's helped us grow. And then Central Illinois is it's been a great spot to run a coffee business. I mean, I feel like the towns, they're just like, Peoria, Bloomington, Champaign, Springfield, Decatur, huge population base up north. So we love working with a lot of local cafes. We've started working with some car dealerships. We do roasted coffee, but we also sell all the equipment to brew coffee. So espresso machines, brewers, grinders, whether it's residential or commercial, we'll sell it, we install it, we service it. So
Dang it.
yeah,
I just bought a grinder. I should have called.
Oh yeah.
But I will remember that earlier you said that a little more coarse grounds is better for a French press. Which probably then I won't have that weird like sludge at the which is fine.
Yeah. You're probably grinding it maybe a little too fine.
I had ground coffee already, so that's what I used, and it's just like a little layer at the bottom of it when you get done with the cup. I'm like, okay, I don't need,
Actually, sorry, you go ahead.
Well, I'm you don't want to, if it's ground too fine, you'll get like little gritty in your coffee, and that's not great.
Right.
What getting beans versus already ground?
Oh yeah, good question.
Most brands do, but might be fresher.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. So when you grind it, you increase the surface area that's exposed to oxygen, by 1,000 times. So the enemy of coffee is being exposed to oxygen, and then that starts degrading it. It doesn't happen right away, but as it's exposed to air, it starts to degrade. So what you'll find, like when we grind coffee, we grind it and then we put it in the bag right away and seal the bag. So we don't let oxygen in the bag, and that's common. Like most coffee companies do that. But once you open that bag, of ground coffee, you make it it will just start to go stale quicker. If you buy whole bean, there's less surface area for the bean to get exposed to oxygen, and then it won't degrade as quick. So really, it's a freshness thing. Like you'll just get a fresher cup, a little bit better flavor, and you may not notice it right away, but if you're gonna drink it every day, you'll notice, oh, this is a little bit more vibrant. This has some more flavor notes. I can taste some chocolatey undertones with this, where with the ground, it wasn't quite there.
Right.
Do a coffee tasting.
I know. Well, this is actually kind of funny too, because like speaking of Folgers earlier, I don't know, like last weekend or something, I was at my dad's house and I was like, oh, I kind of had a headache, and it was because I hadn't had any coffee. Addicted. And my dad still drinks good old Folgers, and I don't like Colfax, the water. It's not really great. And so he puts it through like a Brita filter, like pitcher or whatever, and that's what he uses to brew it. But it's still it's not the best. And so I had a little cup of that Folgers, brewed with Colfax water. I was like, woo! But I was like, I definitely have moved up in the world. I'm like, Dad, you need to, there are other things out there than Folgers coffee.
Yeah.
Please just try Gebena next time you're at Dave's. Pick that up instead, because it is 10 times better than this, just probably ground by the millions of pounds, put in a tin can kind of stuff. But he adds the sugar and the cream. I'm like, oh my God, if you just got regular good coffee, you wouldn't have to add all this stuff to it.
Well, that's impressive. Your dad's filtering the water, because coffee is it's 96% water after it's brewed. It's mostly water still. And so bad water leads to just bad coffee.
It literally puts an oil slick on top of it. I don't think he's probably not really changing his filter as often as he should be either anyways, but Yeah, I'm afraid to kill my coffee pot, so I buy like good. I buy spring water usually. It says you're not supposed to, but that's probably better than distilled. Doesn't have anything in it, so I use spring water to brew mine, and it is chef's kiss. I love it. And I always add. I like heavy cream or sweet cream, just a little smidge sweet cream.
Right. It has to be literally just a smidge. When I order a coffee somewhere, and then it looks completely white.
What is even in this?
Too much. Too much.
Yeah. So I went through the drive-thru. I was like, light cream. And he did it to me. It was not.
Did you not put heavy cream? You put light cream in it instead, or I don't know. But if it's good coffee, you don't need to add any stuff to it.
Well, I think about every once in a while I'll get either Dunkin' or
Crafted,
for the crafted bags that they have that has a flavoring already in it.
Oh,
that also can't be great for you, right? Just putting
like French vanilla coffee or whatever.
Yeah. It's definitely not as healthy as just the black coffee. But yeah, it's a flavoring oil. So after the beans are roasted, you add the flavor oil to it, and they're most flavoring oils, or at least all of ours, are gluten free. They're shellfish free, nut free. There's no allergens in them.
Interesting.
Wait, so
they're not
sell that?
Yeah, we do have flavored coffees. Yeah.
Oh, we go to a different store. I think it's just 3 different.
Yeah. Well, Dave's has some flavored coffees. If you look, you might have to kind of look through the bags.
No, I just looked for that purple Guatemalan.
I'm like, yep,
picking up.
Yeah. They have a great selection of quite a few different roasts.
Yeah, I definitely tried different of the K cups, like I think Costa Rican, and definitely the Guatemalan, and then something else that was because I like a light roast, but Patrick, he likes dark roast. He's really he wants it strong and dark.
Strong, yeah.
About kills me. So I buy myself a light roast so I can have a cup of each at least, meet somewhere in the middle. But definitely gonna have to branch out and try some different ones. Do you have a favorite roast?
If I'm gonna have 3 to 5 cups, like the FDA says I can have, I'll probably do a medium roast, a Guatemalan, or actually I'd probably do our Peru, our Fair Trade Organic Peru. It's great.
Okay. All right, writing that one down. Peru.
That's our best seller too. And
there's a purple label as well, isn't it?
That's blue. That one's blue.
Either. Getting all jacked up on the coffee now.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
If I was gonna just have one cup, I would definitely do a light roast, probably our Congo. It's just got tons of flavor, and it's more acidic. It's great, and I love it for one cup. But if I'm gonna drink them back to back, it's too much flavor, too much acidity.
Is that the differences between light, medium, and dark? Because I just assumed it's kind of the color, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean definitely color. Your darker roasts are gonna be a little bit more bitter. They'll taste a little bit more almost like tobacco-y, some maybe smoky or cigar-y. Because you're at that point in the roast, you're almost burning the bean, you're just right on the edge there. Okay. So you get this more ashy type flavor, deep, sit on the back of your throat,
my dad
feel you should.
It'll put hair on your chest.
Yeah, exactly.
That'll put hair on your chest. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. That kind of flavor.
That is that's your dark roast. And then your medium roast would be, you get more some chocolatey notes, which I've been talking about a lot. That's a very common one. Like just think, like when you drink a medium roast, especially if it's a Guatemalan, like think dark chocolate, maybe think almond or nutty, like and
Yeah.
and then I think you'll taste it. Like a lot of times you got to hear it, and then you kind of taste it. It's a little bit
Right.
hard to just taste and then like put words in with it.
Yes.
For sure.
When we
Sorry, go ahead.
well we every Thursday we cup our coffee. Like we'll do two different roasts of ours, and sometimes we'll buy a competitor's coffee and compare it to ours. And it's super fun. You just get to
Yeah.
see the different flavors, and we use a coffee wheel. Actually, I have one. Yeah, here it is. I guess on a podcast you can't see this, but this is a coffee flavor wheel.
This is so funny that we literally
Yeah.
just did this with wine, like last
Yeah.
week.
Okay. Right on.
Cool.
So-
okay.
And it like tells you all of the different like if this is like the certain flavor that you're tasting, well, this is what it could be, and if
Different kinds
Yeah,
of nuts
right.
or chocolatey,
Yeah,
kind of
totally,
dark chocolate.
yeah.
you're saying you don't know until you start like either
Somebody tells you,
someone
or
tells you, or you're like looking at a wheel like that. Like you
Yeah,
don't really
yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah. And so we always cup in a group. So there's at least three of us, usually four or five. And then we just talk about it. Like we'll look at the flavor wheel, and like an Ethiopian it's pretty like sweet and fruity, like maybe some cherry notes in it. That's very typical of an Ethiopian, especially from the Yirgacheffe region, which is what our Ethiopian is. So yeah, we'll just we'll try the coffees, and if something's like that's not good, like that is well, one time we tried one of our coffees and it was like that tastes like green bean juice, like it was like veggie, it's like grassy, like what's wrong? And so we changed the roast. We actually roasted it like 4 degrees darker.
oh
It was
wow,
a medium roast. We just roasted it a little bit darker as a medium roast, and it got rid of that green bean juice, and it turned it into more of like a caramel flavor. And so yeah,
interesting.
we'll take the feedback we get, and then if needed, we'll change the roast to keep our coffee tasting good, because you don't really want you don't want to think green bean juice after you start drinking your coffee.
I think on our wheel that we had, one of the things was Old Band-Aid. On the wheel, I was
That was on a wine coffee tasting wheel.
it was like rotten egg, something else, and
rotten
Old
egg.
Band-Aid, and I was like,
Yeah.
what
I
is this?
would hope that I'm not tasting any of that.
Also, what's a new Band-Aid versus old Band-Aid? I'm not really sure.
I'd way rather have a new Band-Aid.
I'm not sure, but that's so. Okay, wine people are called sommeliers. Is it the same then for like
So
coffee?
yeah, coffee. So like the professionals who they wouldn't really need this, they'd know it,
Right.
and
Yeah.
and they would just taste it, and they could boom, boom, boom. They're called Q graders. Q graders, like the letter Q. Yeah, and they're mostly women. Women are better. They have a better palate. They have their taste buds are better. Like so, yeah. Most of the Q graders in the industry are women, and
Interesting.
yeah, it's true. It's actually really cool because a lot of the countries that we buy coffee from, like there's not a whole lot of they're just kind of like male dominated, and so it's really cool. Like you see women, they're great at what they do. They're professionals, and they're the best at it. So
The men go out and farm it, and the ladies sit there pinky out and taste it, and
yep.
be like,
Sip
all
the
right,
cup,
it's good.
sip the coffee, and
You guys need to do better. This one doesn't taste.
That's
yeah,
great.
right,
That's
right.
great.
Yep.
Do you ever go to like any of the countries that you? Is that kind of
Yeah.
like the process?
Yeah,
there.
we don't travel a ton, mostly because I have a lot of little kids at home. But we are planning a trip for early next year to visit
Cool.
a country that we buy from, and then Lifesong, who we're partnered with, Lifesong for Orphans, they travel quite a bit, to the different countries that they're involved with. They have schools around the world in different countries, and a lot of those are countries that we buy coffee from. So, yeah, we do get around to some of those countries, and then we really do most of it through like email. That's actually the main way we communicate with a lot of with a lot of with our green coffee buying.
Yeah. Interesting. So Life Song for Orphans is like basically like your sister company kind of to
Yeah,
Gobena,
exactly. Yep, totally.
interesting. So that's like really awesome going around helping out orphans and being like, do you want a beautiful cup of Joe, or can we help you
Yeah.
sell your beans and we know a place for them to go? I bet that works out pretty good. That's cool.
Yeah, they do great work. They're really focused on helping children who from they don't have parents, like maybe they were abandoned, or maybe their parents died, and so their focus is on orphan children, and helping them get educated, like providing that's what the schools do, and they provide dental and medical care. They get 2 meals a day, and a lot of these students will live with an aunt or an uncle, or maybe some of them will just have one parent alive, and they'll be living with their mom or dad. And then when they get into like middle school, a lot of the schools have they call them student life homes, like where they can live on campus, and there's girl student life homes and boy student life homes, and in some of these, in some of these countries, it's common for girls when they turn 13 or 14 to get married, um, and there's just a lot of hard stuff there. So that's why they started these student life homes. So the girls could, yeah, get educated, and we definitely, share the gospel in the classroom. Bring, talk about God and creation, so they get a biblical education too. And then, and then actually, the hardest thing is like once they graduate grade 12, um, some go to university, some will go to vocational school, but how do you, how do you enter into like adult life? Because frankly, that's hard no matter where you're at. I remember leaving college and entering into the workforce. That's a hard one. And a lot of these countries have like, 70% unemployment rate. So, yeah, almost most of the people are unemployed. Like, and we have students graduating who we've been with for years, amazing young men and women. And, how do we help them launch into adult life? And so, they're, trying to, help them start a business or make connections with other businesses in the countries. So yeah, it's really cool the work Life Song's doing. I could talk about that a bunch. And so it's fun to be partnered with them, and our employees, the Gobena employees love that. I love that. Like it's, we roast coffee, and some days are long and hard. We have breakdowns, and sometimes the equipment doesn't work, or you just got issues, but it's always nice knowing that what you're doing is making a difference. And I think, we all want to do that, even, like I love this podcast, what you guys are doing. Like you want to impact people positively. You want to encourage others. So it's fun to do that here at Gobena.
Right. Yeah, I love it. And so also on your website, there was a tab that talks about fundraising specifically. So people who want to fundraise, is it for their organization of choice? Like they can use your products to either auction off or do something in order to raise money for their fundraiser or for their organization that they want to do?
Yeah, we'll fundraise with a lot of different organizations. Some like traveling volleyball teams or soccer teams that are wanting to fundraise. We discount our coffee. They can resell it and make $7 to $8 a bag. We do a lot of work with a lot of churches for mission trips. Work with a lot of schools for band or Christmas concerts. All sorts of things. We work with a lot of families who are adopting They want to
that's
fundraise
awesome.
to help
Which is,
offset the cost of adoption.
yeah, I'm just always so confused. I'm like, why is it so expensive to do that?
To adopt.
The vetting, right? Like people who want to adopt. I get that. But like, why
Shouldn't just be for rich people. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. That's a great point. And really that Life Song, one thing, they work with a lot of US families helping them adopt, and one of their main drivers is no family should not adopt because it costs so much. And so they give a lot of grants. Families can apply for grants, and Life Song gives out, I don't know how much it is a year in grants, but it's, I shouldn't say because I really don't know, but it's quite a bit. Like, there's, I do know there's like maybe 700 families a year that get grants from Life Song throughout the U.S. So yeah, it's cool. It's really cool.
Saving kids and selling coffee. Hey, and
like
dude, get rid of those weird candy bars that those kids sell. If some kid approached me with a bunch of coffee, I would be like, I will take all of this.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yep.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
really
we're starting
cool.
to work with more of the schools in the area in McLean County, and it is a great thing to sell because you can go back to the same person in 2 months and sell it again because they drink, they use it up. It's not like a one-time fundraiser.
Yeah.
Through a bag very quickly.
We do too. Like, woo, I don't use that much. Maybe a bag a week.
We're both like,
It's the best. It's really good stuff.
drinking coffee literally all
Good.
Can I drink some?
I like to do a coffee in the morning, water, and then another one at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Let's get you. Isn't that what the British do? Isn't that why they have tea time so they can caffeinate? Yeah,
Their
just
black
pretend.
tea.
Yeah. Whoa. God,
Give me that time.
I cannot do tea. Yeah, coffee is where it's at for sure. Love it.
So you guys just sell like in Illinois?
Yeah, we sell supermarkets in Illinois, and then cafes. We have them throughout the U.S. Different cafes we partner with. I think we're partnered with 50 or 55 cafes right now. We work with churches throughout the U.S. And then, as far as online, just people all over will buy it. We actually ship out probably 90% of our product. We'll ship it through UPS or the post office. So a lot of it just goes all over.
Yeah, I saw that you guys also have a subscription service.
Yeah.
Which I'm thinking about it. Because that's a lot better than, should I go to the store today just for coffee? Yes. But now I know I can just buy it online,
Yeah, Dave's has an amazing price. They've been a long time customer, so that's a great spot. But yeah, the coffee club is what our subscription service is called, and that has a discounted price as well. It's a pretty good deal, especially if you get 2 bags or more. You get like another 10 or 12% off.
Sweet.
It's like probably something I just need to do.
Just keep it on you. We'll just clear out a shelf in the pantry and we'll just start doing different coffee. We'll be Q graders in no time.
There you go. Yeah.
We'll let you know what we're tasting in each of your different products.
Yeah. I'll be calling you guys for advice here before too long.
Oh God. Oh shoot. I love it.
No, I'm excited. Like I hope. I mean, I would assume just like any other business, like you want to continue to grow and like your
the world, the U.S.
Yeah, like I'm excited for Gebena.
Good job. You did it.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I am too. It's fun. Yeah, we've really loved being in Central Illinois. It's a great spot, and people have been so kind to us, and we're focused on serving quality product, good customer service, and we'll keep trying to do those things well and keep on rolling.
Sweet. Before we let you go, Luke, is there anything else you want to add, or do you want to like throw out like your guys' social media?
Tweet at ya. Something.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. We're on Facebook. We're on social media. Definitely. We actually hired a young lady named Hannah, who's doing our social media account right now, and she's doing an awesome job. So definitely check it out. She'll go along with our service techs and do short clips on what they're doing, like pulling apart an espresso machine. We work with some really high end coffee equipment, so it's fun to see. She'll do stuff with our roasters. You'll see a bunch of videos and stuff. You'll actually be able to learn a ton about coffee just by check out our Instagram. It's got tons of great facts. Some days she'll just throw out coffee facts that are super interesting.
I love it.
Yeah, it's great.
And stop by on Highway 24.
Yeah. Yep. Route 24. West side of Gridley. Yeah, just come on in. Go to the Gobena building. It's got the Gobena logo on the outside. And, we'll get you some coffee, give you a tour.
Cool. It's a beautiful building, too. I was like, I was so geeked. I was with Patrick in the car. I was like, I found it. Oh, my God, it's right there. And he was like, relax.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know. It's just right there. It's so cool. I love it.
Yeah, it's fun.
Right. Well,
if there's there anything else that you want to throw out there or tell the people or
Well, yeah, one other thing I talked about an addition we're going to add on, and we're going to have a training lab in there with espresso machines that will be hooked up, and actually some other really cool coffee equipment like a nitro cold brew. We'll have like a fizzy water tap there, drip brewers, basically all the latest coffee equipment. It'll be a showroom, and then also it'll be like a training room as well. So that'll probably be 9 months away because they're just getting ready to break ground. But the really cool thing is it'll be a great spot for education for the community, for people to come in who want to learn more about coffee, for cafe owners who want to learn more about coffee and equipment, how to service it, how to maintain it. So it'll be a fun room, and you guys will definitely, you'll have to come visit now. But once that's done too, you'll have to come visit and check all that out.
Oh, for sure.
just teach me all the things.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun stuff to learn.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, thanks for talking to us today. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this is fun. Yeah, this was awesome. This is. Thanks for having me on. It was great.
Cool. All right. Appreciate it. I'm just gonna hit the stop button on the record.
Yeah.
Okay. Click. Do I know how to?